Greetings, this is the Questing GM. I just want to do this short video, which I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a series out of it. But if some of you may know that if you've been following my quest logs, is that I've decided not to run any D&D games throughout the year, and I'll be dedicating myself to running other games and learning new systems and all that sort of thing. But that doesn't mean that I'm totally not allowing myself to play in any D&D games as a player, not as a DM. So I'm actually quite happy to announce that my group has sort of decided onto our next campaign, D&D campaign run by one of our DMs, and that game is going to be the adventure module Curse of Strahd, and I believe the motivation for what led my DM to wanted to run Curse of Strahd was that because he's been hearing a lot of praises and reviews about Curse of Strahd being the best published adventure for 5th edition, and he decided to like try for himself to see to see if he can learn something out of the whole experience, and maybe as well as trying to run a published adventure module and see what's so great about this adventure module itself. So I'm actually pretty excited to get my feet wet into Ravenloft because my history with Ravenloft was back in the AD&D days, and I actually never really got a chance to really immerse myself into the setting very well because during my younger self, I didn't find the appeal of playing in a setting where the villains was always had the advantage and was sort of intended to always uh, beat you, in any shape or form, as a kind of heroic way of playing Dungeons and Dragons. But as time goes on and I've been starting to read up a little bit on the lore just to get a feel of the game that's gonna have our first session tomorrow. um, I actually think that there is a challenge in running gothic horror for Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's a interesting. It was the designers who came up with Ravenloft. I think it was Tracy Hickman or the same people who did Dragonlance. They really had an interesting take on how the tropes of Dungeons and Dragons would fit into Ravenloft, and they sort of explained that in the original Red Box campaign setting. Uh, I don't know how has that I don't know how has that translated into 5th edition, or in terms of tone, but I'll be definitely interested to see how my DM takes this adventure module and runs with it and see how as players we can actually interact with those elements of gothic horror in 5th edition mechanics, because in some ways you could say that 5th edition mechanics is sort of doesn't work well with the dangers of Ravenloft. So I think there has to be a certain kind of direction in terms of bringing the experience of Ravenloft to the players instead of through the mechanics. So the composition that we have so far in the group, and this is also and this is also the second reason why I'm very excited about having this game, because which starts tomorrow, is that uh, beyond just our regular group members, we are actually getting 2 new players. So that actually brings our party size of to 6, and including the be 7 players altogether. And it's interesting that we are not only playing in a new setting with a new DM, but also with new players. So there's a lot of potential and exciting dynamics that could happen in the new session. Now, so for my and also one other interesting thing is that when we decided to play this campaign is that we decided that we will be doing it in a rather what would be nowadays known as old school methods of playing, in the sense that our character was generated using 3d6 roll in order. So there was no way for assigning scores. It was all up to the luck of the dice to decide what we should play as. So for myself, I didn't get a very flattering score, but my scores were scoring above the average in places like Dex, Strength, and Wisdom. So my decision of what class to play finally came down to the Ranger, and I'm actually going to be trying the new subclass from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is the Monster Slayer. But we'll be starting at level 1, so the subclass wouldn't come into effect until third level at least for me, and if not for the other players. Uh, I haven't got the full information of what the rest of the group are playing. I only know that we have a dwarf fighter, we have a celestial warlock, and we have a wild sorcerer. And I'll be interested to see, the remaining players, the two remaining players, or what they play. I think one of them decided they will either be a rogue or wizard, and I'm not sure about the last person. But in any case, I think I'm just making this video as a pre like as a prologue to the entire experience. I have no idea what's gonna happen tomorrow. Although I try to refrain myself from reading the actual adventure module itself, just to keep myself on edge. And if if we decided to make this a very long-term commitment, in the sense that the DM decided that this is the group that we want to play with, this is the time frame that you want to play with, then you might be seeing me doing more of these quest log videos, as like so-called as a campaign diary of sorts, with my experience with Curse of Strahd, but from a player's perspective rather than from a GM's perspective. And I don't know, the only real reason why I'm doing this is only just to start a journal of my playing experience, as well as my GMing experience when it comes to things, to other things. I think how we play can differ quite greatly from how we run, and I think it'll be interesting. It'll be maybe useful to the GM, to my DM in this case, or to even other GMs, to see how we take and how we think about the game sessions that we experience as a player rather than as a GM. So yeah, so this is to great new beginnings. If and I'm praying that we get a very, very good start for our Curse of Strahd game. And I don't know, I don't foresee myself trying to be an expert, or to give proper advice to players or GMs who want to run Curse of the Abyss. But I'll probably be just putting everything on here, just so that as a record, and hopefully someone might find it valuable when they decide to play or run Curse of Strahd someday. So this is the Questing GM signing out for now, and I'll hopefully be back with the next video talking about our first session of Curse of Strahd. So see you in the next one. Bye.